Yo, what is up, you guys? It's Jay here with the DJ Trader, and today we're going to talk about understanding the 20% consistency rule with prop firms when you're trying to achieve that 20%. Let's get started with this video. Alright, you guys, so before we begin, if you guys find this video helpful at all, make sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget to like the video and turn on bell notifications if you decide to subscribe. Alright, so we're going to talk about this 20% consistency rule and how it works. I know that there are a lot of people that are kind of confused as to what it means, how it works, how to get to that point. And right now, there's only two real companies that really focus on the consistency rule, and that is Tradeify and One Futures. So we're gonna look at both of those, what the differences between those are when it comes to consistency rules and to achieve it. And then I'll show you guys a cool graph that you guys can use as well to be able to calculate that consistency rule specifically for yourself. All right, so here we have One Futures and here we have Tradeify. And the difference between the two is that with Tradeify, you have a specific target that you need to get to be able to qualify for a payout, and you need to achieve it by getting to that 20% consistency to achieve that target. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go over the 150k account, but they will essentially be the same for all of these. Same with here, that the requirement of that consistency is 20% all across the board. You can see it here, but just to make it easy, because I trade 150k accounts, we're gonna go over the 150k account itself. Now, currently I have a 150k account with One Futures, and you guys, if you want to trade with them, right now they're a brand new company that just launched, but they are not new to the prop world. They have had a company called Top 1 Trader for quite some time, and they've been around for the block. They've done $2 million in payouts, so they've been around the block. They've just created this new company for futures specifically. Now, for the 150k account specifically for Tradeify, these guys require you to get to a $9,000 profit to be able to qualify for a payout, but you also have to achieve a 20% consistency. Now, what does that mean? With $9,000, the most you can make on a single day to achieve that consistency cannot be more than $1,800 on a trading day. If you go over that $1,800, your target of $9,000 will increase, which isn't really a big deal. But if you wanted to get to that consistency and not have to make more money because you're making more money on a day, then you want to stay under that specific daily win for your P&L. Now, how do you get to that number of $1,800 and below? There is a simple equation that you do. It is essentially the target number, which is 9,000, and then you times that by 20%. So quickly, 9,000 times 0.20 will equal $1,800. So if you make $1,800 or less, then your target will be that $9,000. Now, how many days will it take you to get to that point? You could essentially do it in 5 days, but slow and steady, base hits, that is the way you want to trade in these firms, or just in general, as you build up your account. But $1,800 is that number for this specific account because you're trying to get to 9,000. Now, if you make more than $1,800, there is a different equation that you do. So let's just say we make $2,500 on one specific day. Instead of multiplying by 20%, you want to divide it by 20%, which the number then increases to $12,500. So if I make $2,500 on a specific day while trading, trying to get to that $9,000 target, if I make $2,500, my target will no longer be $9,000 to get to 20% consistency, my new number is $12,500. So to get to the consistency of 20%, I essentially have to get to $12,500 and not make any more than $2,500 per day. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you. And I'll show you on a document in a little bit how it works, how it looks, just because I'm all about visuals, and just the visual aspect behind it helps a lot. With Top One Futures, it's a bit different because they do not have a target for you to achieve, but they have specific rules to be able to achieve a payout. It's the same thing with Tradeify. They also have specific rules to achieve a payout, and you also have to wait on their specific days to receive a payout. But I believe there is a rumor, I'm not 100% sure, that they are going to be removing the payout window. Ever since Top One Futures launched theirs, that there is no real payout window, I think they're going to be changing theirs as well, but don't quote me, I could be wrong. But the rules to be able to qualify for a straight to sim funded for Tradeify are, again, you can't have a max loss of $6,000, so obviously don't burn the account. You need to get to $9,000 in profit. You have to have a minimum of 10 trading days as well to be able to achieve that target of being able to get a payout, and that's it. Now with these guys, the rules are a bit different. Again, there is no target that you need to get to, but there are specific requirements that you need. One of the first ones is that you need to be able to make 2% of profit on the account size. So 2% on $150,000 or 150,000K account is $3,000. So you need to make a minimum of at least $3,000 to qualify for a payout. So that's rule number one. Rule number two, you also need to get to that 20% consistency. So that's rule number two. And then the third thing is you essentially have to wait 14 days to be able to receive a payout if you do not buy the add-on. If you buy an add-on, essentially that third rule of waiting 14 days goes away, and you just have the two rules, which is achieve the minimum balance made on the account at 2% growth, and then achieving the 20% consistency rule. Now, for achieving the 20% consistency rule with these guys, again, there is no target that you need to get to, but you essentially create your own profit target. So what I mean by that, so for myself, I'm going to trade normally the way I normally trade. I'm not going to try to make lower income just to try to get to the 20% consistency. I will average somewhere between $450 a trade to maybe $2,000 a trade. Just to be safe, maybe I'll just stick to $1,800, so that way my target will be $9,000 to get to that consistency rule, but it doesn't really matter. I like trying to secure profits, and anything above $450 a day is a good day. So this is my funded account with Top One Futures. I did do a trade tonight. I made $977, but in 4 days of trading, 1,110 is my biggest winning day. So how do I figure out the consistency rule for this account specifically to be able to qualify for a payout? Again, you want to do your biggest winning day divided by 20%. So 1,110.80 divided by 0.20. So 5,554. So what that means is once my account balance reaches $5,554, and as long as I do not make more than $1,110.80, I will achieve the 20% consistency rule. But if I continue trading Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and in one of those days I have a bigger day, let's say I make $1,600 on one of these days, because $1,600 is a bigger winning day than my 1,100. What this means, my new target will be $8,000. So for me to be able to qualify for a payout, if I make $1,600 on Thursday as an example, then my new target to get to 20% consistency is $8,000. As long as I stay under $1,600, then I should be fine. But the higher you win, the more money you're going to have to make, which isn't a problem if you're used to having big winning days. You just have to be consistent on having big winning days. So again, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You're just supposed to trade the way you are trading on a normal basis, and you will eventually get to that 20% consistency. So like I said, I feel like a lot of people overthink this 20% consistency rule when it really isn't a big deal. Again, 963 here, 426 here, 1,100 here, and 977 here. And if I just continue this consistency of making money, which in reality, $426 in one day is a really good day if you consider how much people are making on average on a single day. This is a good amount. Like, this is trying to not be greedy. This is being smart and just taking those base hits and building up the account. But by having these days, as they build, my consistency will decrease every single day. Now, if you want to see how this works visually, this is a document that I actually got from another content creator. His name is Trade Like KV. He has a video that he posted about the consistency rule and how it works as well. And in reality, I kind of got the idea from him, and I understand how this works. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just make a video about it as well. But this document right here is very helpful with being able to understand where the consistency is coming from and how you need to get to it. So if I use this graph for myself with how I've done, on day one I made 963, and then on day two I made 426.81. So right now you see that my first day consistency was still at 100%, and it will always start at 100% on your very first day of trading on the account, or after you receive a payout. When you receive a payout, the consistency rule resets and you got to do it all over again. Then on the third day, I made 1,110.80 as well. So now that I've made more money, here you can see the different numbers itself and how it increases. This shows my highest P&L be less than 500, and your highest day P&L currently is 1,100. So to be eligible for a payout, I need to total a P&L of 5,554, and how much more do I need to make is 3,054. Now there's a note here, I don't know why it's shrunk, but it says if this number is lower than your highest P&L or your highest day P&L, then you can still surpass this number as long as your daily profit stays below your highest P&L, which is exactly what I explained. If this number is equal or higher than your highest day P&L, then you are eligible for a payout. So let's, again, we don't have to worry about this number here. But on day number 4, I made 977.60. And now I am sitting at 31.9% for the consistency rule. So you see, as I make my daily wins and base hits and not hitting home runs, my consistency number gets lower every single day. Now let's just say I make 1,000 this day, and let's say on this day I lose 1,000. So because I lost, my consistency target goes up again. I'm at 31%, so it's as if nothing ever happened. Let's just continue. You know what? I make 650, 900. So there I'm at 22%. Again, let's say this day I lost 300, and then let's say I have a banger of a day, right? On day 10, I make, let's say I make 1600, like I talked about. So because I made $1,600, my target that I need to get to is $8,000 to get to that 20% consistency. So am I eligible for payout? No, I am not. But if, let's say, the next day I make 650, and then the day after that I make 800, and then the day after that I make 1200. There we go. So after 13 days of day trading, and I hopefully, these numbers are somewhat accurate, then I will be at 17.82%, and I will be qualified to receive a payout. And I don't have any more money to achieve, because at that point my account balance will be at $8,979. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Again, I will share this document in my video for those that want to kind of try it out or keep it, and they can see how it works itself, and you can kind of play around with the numbers. But again, it really isn't a big deal at the end of the day if you are being consistent with the amount that you are winning. Now, again, let's say on day one I hit a banger and I make $10,000. Now, I'm at a consistency of 100% still, day one, but I need to achieve $50,000 before I qualify for a payout. So let's say day two, I make 5,000. Day three, I make 3,000. Day four, because I'm doing big winning or whatever, I hit my P&L, so I'm negative 3,750. So boom, I had a loser. And then let's say, again, because I'm trading big, I have another loser. Let's say I lose 2,000. And then let's say I hit another home run. I make $14,000. Because, I want to hit home runs. My consistency number has still decreased, but my target has increased. I now have to make $70,000 before I can even get a payout, and that payout is only going to be $5,000, which is a tiny number compared to what you have to make. But also, whatever you make in your trading account will be transferred over to a live. So if you have 100 grand in your account, by the third payout, then when you get moved to a live account, they will fund you with $100,000 to trade with. So to get to this point, let's say I'm gonna have to make some significant gains. Let's just do, let's say 3750. Or no, sorry, let's make a 6,000 win for that one, and then let's say I lost 3,750, and then I make 10,000 again. So again, if you have big winning days, banger winning days, you can still achieve this $70,000 in 14, 15 days. Let's say day 14 is that, and then 3,000, and then there we go. So in 15 days, if I have these kind of insane numbers, then I am able to achieve that $70,000 within 15 days. But again, these numbers in reality are not realistic. I know that there are people that throws massive numbers out there, but if you are throwing out big numbers like this, you're going to have to be consistent with throwing those big numbers. Otherwise, it's going to take you quite some time to get to $70,000, because that is not something that's easily attainable for the average Joe like myself. You need to have a decent buffer to be able to do that. Like, before I even try to do bigger trades with bigger lot sizes, I need to have at least $20,000 in the account, maybe $30,000 in the account, to be able to consider doing 5 to 10 contracts, to be able to risk my full daily loss limit. I need to have that good amount of buffer to be able to lose 4 or 5 days in a row so that I can continue to build up again. So that's why, to me personally, it makes sense to have, base hits. Bigger isn't always better. Slow and steady is what everyone says it is. It's not a race, it's a marathon. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful to, again, those that are wondering about how the consistency rule works with these straight to funded prop firms. I think that we're going to start seeing more of these straight to funded firms. I think Top Step is going to eventually do it, even though they say that they don't. They like to follow the trends of other people to try to stay competitive, but I think that's something that might be coming, but who knows. All you need to know is that now you know how to be able to achieve that consistency rule on your own. And again, hopefully this video was helpful to those that were confused about it and have just figured out how to do it now. Alright, so that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, peace out, stay green, trade safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.